all, Alex here with the Wisconsin Computer Club. Welcome back to the shop. And today I would like to talk about a new piece of hardware the Wisconsin Computer Club recently picked up for our show fleet. It just made its public debut at our show in Green Bay, Wisconsin this last weekend. And it is a stunning little piece of hardware, if I do say so myself. It is, if I can reach over and grab it, the NEC PCFX. The PCFX is a fantastic little piece of hardware aesthetically. I guess I'm going to start off with that. It's built in kind of a mini tower arrangement for like a PC kind of thing. Early in the 90s, this thing was released in 1994. The styling was unusual as consoles were all kind of going flat. This one decided to go kind of vertical, probably leaning into more of that kind of like PC gaming, that kind of hardcore gaming kind of angle of things, maybe. It also wanted to kind of boast that it was expandable. Now, not a whole lot of expansions were made for this thing, but it has a number of slots and bays around the front and the back, so you could stick new expansions into it. Spoiler alert, it didn't quite get that far. But NEC had big plans for this, because this was the successor to the renowned and very famous PC Engine / TurboGrafx. I first saw one of these things in 2023 when Mr. Yeager had one at EverCon. And it was the first time I ever saw one, and I was basically completely smitten by it at sight. And so I've always been kind of looking for one thereafter, despite some of its kind of flaws and drawbacks. As a system, it was released in Japan in, like I say, 1994, hot right before the Sega Saturn and the PlayStation 1 would have come out. So this was, pretty much doomed from that perspective. But it also had the problem of it is designed entirely around 2D gaming. So it is designed to push pixels around, to do sprite work, and all kinds of cool animation effects that way. So it was second to none in that category, but the problem was everyone was going to polygons, and this thing cannot do polygons really at all. Making matters worse, NEC was trying to figure out how to market this thing, and they really decided to lean heavily on anime licenses. So while they had Hudson Soft in-house to help develop things, they were making mostly text-based RPGs, they were doing a lot of dating simulator kind of games, and they made a couple of like kind of strategy games. And while I'm not going to say they're bad, they're not really the kind of thing that's going to move a whole lot of gaming units for a gaming system. So definitely more aimed at the anime fans and that kind of thing. And there was already a lot of that on the market, and didn't really stress the capabilities of the machine very much. It didn't allow it to really show off what it could do. And without a lot of developer support, and with Hudson effectively their arms tied behind their backs, they couldn't make like a Blanc sequel or anything like that for it, which would have been awesome, but I digress. Yeah, this thing moved about 400,000 units in Japan, considering that the TurboGrafx and the PC Engine sold oodles more across all the various iterations and versions and whatnot. This thing was a pathetic failure, and NEC actually left the video game market after that. They were like, we're done with this, which is, again, a tragedy, but what can you do? Back to hardware. The gamepad is very similar to the later edition 6-button PC Engine pads. It uses a 9-pin connector, kind of like an Atari connector, but it's shrouded. Let's see if I can pull it out here. Kind of an unusual arrangement there, unique and bespoke to the system. So that's that one. It has 2 ports in the front, so if you had a 2-player game and friends that wanted to play with the PCFX, you could do that. It has the power button right up here, which plugs in. It has a top-loading CD drive, which is kind of neat. And thank goodness, no region locking. So if you need games for this thing, you can burn them off the archive, and they are right there, and you're good to go that way. So you don't necessarily have to import all the games, which is very, very pricey for a very kind of lackluster video game library. Most of the games that are for this system, probably a good half of them, are not the kind of games that I could even show on here due to the adult content. But for actual video games, it has 1 vertical shooter, a baseball game, a beat-em-up, and a puzzle game. Now, there may be a couple other games. I know there's some people who are developing things for this platform now still, even all these years later, but considering for the longest time that was kind of your lot for video games, aside from all the anime, adventure-y kind of things, it's kind of sad. Actually, very sad, considering how cool this system very much is and could have been. So, to kind of drive this point home here, I am going to switch the TV over here from that to that, and we'll see this thing run just very briefly here. So, pull that over here. Yeah, looks about right. We're just going to tell it that, yes, we want to play our game. Do it. Yep, now it's spinning. There we go. All right. Sorry about that. So this is Zeroagar, which, again, I'm not entirely sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but this is a vertical shoot-'em-up kind of game, which is very popular on the PC Engine. All those kind of game systems have those kind of games on there. But as you can see, it has a full-motion video cutscenes on this thing, and they're all, of course, animated, and it's beautiful. It looks great on this system. But I'm interested to see what the actual gameplay looks like. So let's jump on in. Let's see this thing. So we're going to do whatever that is. And let's see. As we get a run, we're going to get our little cutscene here. We've got our, it's kind of like an army base kind of thing. Yeah. We're going to cut our head and we're going to fly the airplane. We had this at the show, and a lot of people were able, even though it's in Japanese, they're able to just walk up and play this one because it's pretty self-explanatory. So let's go get them. There we go. So we got our basic attack here. Let's pause. And there you go. Now you're, yeah. So as you can see, this game system had a lot of potential. Like, I wish there were more games like this. Like, if there was an R-Type on here, or, oh shoot, what's the other one? Now I'm not going to be able to name. They would have been awesome on this, because, like I say, the graphics of this thing, the sound of this thing, it's marvelous. And the system absolutely deserved better than it got. So, anyway, yeah, so I'm just going to let that go, and we'll see what happens. So that is the PCFX in a nutshell. It is a wonderful system that is maligned in a way that it just didn't have enough good games to really take off and fly in its own direction, and it was just kind of crushed by the PlayStation, the Saturn. It was kind of doomed from that aspect, but it is still a really interesting console, a fascinating kind of relic of this kind of bygone era of kind of 2D gaming when it was at its prime, when its peak. And I love that we were able to take this thing out to shows and to let people experience it for the first time, and people do seem to really like it when they see it. So that is all. Thank you all so much for watching. Have yourselves a tremendous day.